Men can be predictable. That's not opinion, that's science. Spend as much time as you want in front of the mirror, it won't make any difference on how men around the world see these traits.
A study from the University of Tromsø in Norway asked 443 people about the hair and eye color of their partners. They also showed participants a series of photos in which just the model's eyes had been manipulated to change color. They found that while women and brown-eyed men showed no preference over any particular eye color, blue-eyed men overwhelmingly chose blue-eyed women. The reason? Genetics. The only way a child can have blue eyes is to be born to two blue-eyed parents or to two people who each carry part of the recessive gene for blue eyes. The study's authors say that, conscious or subconscious, blue-eyed men's preference for blue-eyed women might be linked to one extra layer of paternity protection. Random gray hair, higher age bracket? According to a joint study between psychologists from the University of St. Andrews and the University of Liverpool, a mature appearance is exactly what some men are into. There's a cultural norm for what's considered attractive. That's what makes movie stars so universally admired. Here, researchers wanted to find out how our personal experiences helped shape what we find attractive. The study found that men who were born to moms over 30 were more likely to find older women more attractive when they were looking for long-term relationships. It suggested that when looking for a long-term partner, there's something about the influence of that parent-child relationship that makes us feel secure as adults. And that's not all. Studies suggest that parents' influence on what characteristics men find attractive goes even beyond age. Another study from the University of St. Andrews looked at a phenomenon known as imprinting, well known to exist in the animal world and, until recently, largely unexplored in humans. The study looked at how likely men and women will be attracted to certain hair and eye color in their chosen partners. They found that for men, the best indicator of preferences was the hair and eye color of their mothers. Researchers suggest that it's possible that the early connection between mother and son formed a sort of subconscious bond that suggests safety, familiarity, and comfort linked to the eye and hair color they knew first.
Happy birthday! What do you want for breakfast?
Privacy!
Please, don't forget to wash your bottom.
Everyone loves to laugh, but according to a study published in Evolution and Human Behavior, the sort of humor men and women find attractive is surprisingly different.
Oh my God. Wow.
The study found that while women valued both the ability to be funny and to appreciate the same sort of things they found funny, men had a different take. They just wanted someone who's gonna laugh at their jokes. When it came to long-term relationships, it was even more important for men to find someone who appreciated their sense of humor, while funny gal pals were preferred for friendships and short-term relationships. According to a pair of Australian researchers, one thing that men find surprisingly attractive is a simple one that anyone can master: the right head tilt. They manipulated a series of faces to appear as if they were being viewed from different angles, and volunteers were then asked to rate the attractiveness of those faces. They found that men were most attracted to faces where women tilted their heads forward enough that they were looking slightly up. When a man sees a woman who tilts her head forward and looks up at him, the height difference accents traditional ideas about masculinity and femininity. Both men and women find risk-taking super hot in potential mates. Perhaps an obviously attractive trait to women, surprisingly, men were also attracted to women who were adventurous. According to a study by the University of Alaska Anchorage, men and women were attracted to those with hunter-gatherer personality traits. That includes risky activities similar to what our ancient ancestors would have performed, like skiing, mountain climbing, and whitewater rafting. But it was only ancient risks that were found attractive. Modern risks like driving without a seatbelt or dabbling in drugs? Not so much. While you might think that a husky voice would be sexier,
Knock yourselves out.
studies have shown that what men are really attracted to is a higher-pitched voice.
This is my Giselle.
According to one study done by University College London, men favored high-pitched voices because of the features, figure, and youth they associated with that voice. But when the voice got too high, the attractiveness declined.
Buzzkill.
In short, that in order to be most attractive, a voice should be moderately high-pitched and slightly breathy, all which reportedly signaled that the speaker had a small frame. But if your voice doesn't rate as moderately high-pitched, no worries. According to a study from the Journal of Evolutionary Psychology, women talking to a hot guy speak in a higher pitch without even realizing it. While ovulation's not exactly a trait, it's linked to things that men find attractive.
You're all on the same cycle. This is very exciting. Your uterine walls will be shedding for the next 3 to 5 days.
According to a study in the journal Hormones and Behavior, men were more likely to rate women as being the most attractive when they were at the most fertile point in the month. Many studies have shown that as women approach peak fertility, voices pitch higher, body odor becomes more desirable, and skin and lips may change color. All things men have traditionally found more attractive. Think it's the hourglass figure that's most attractive? It depends. According to research done by professors at the University of Texas, it's your waist and hips that matter. Professor Devendra Singh found that when women have a waist-to-hip ratio of between 0.67 and 0.8, they're thought to be the most attractive to men. She surveyed men as to what shape they found most attractive, but researched everything from Miss America contestants to Playboy models. An overwhelming majority of the men agreed that the most attractive shape had to do with that magic calculation, no matter what their age group was. From Beyoncé to Kate Moss, it didn't matter how much they weighed. That specific ratio was hottest of all. It's easy to get stuck on looks, but studies have shown that personality traits like kindness, respectfulness, and optimism really do make you look better. One study done at the University of Westminster surveyed 2,157 male students, and surprisingly found that there was no body type or shape they liked best. But when men were supplied with personality traits, they chose a wider range of body types and sizes, compared to picks based on physical appearance alone. Another study from a group of Chinese universities found similar results. They took both men and women and asked them to rate the attractiveness of a series of faces based only on appearance. 2 weeks later, the same group was given personality traits along with the faces, and positive traits made faces more attractive. They even gave it a name, the halo effect.
It doesn't matter what costume I wear, yours or mine. I'm a superhero. That's who I am.
According to the book Falling in Love, Why We Choose the Lovers We Choose, cross-cultural studies have shown a decided preference for women who have big eyes, small noses, and full lips. But if you don't have any standout features and consider yourself average Ann, have no fear. While cultural standards of beauty are constantly shifting, our perception of what is attractive is rooted in biology, not the media. According to Harvard brain researcher Nancy Etkoff, people find average features the most attractive. One study mixed hundreds of photos to create a composite. As more pictures were added to the composite, the woman became more attractive to men. While it's often thought that bigger is better when it comes to breasts, studies have found that this actually isn't the case. It turns out that men are like Goldilocks when it comes to busts. They like them neither too big nor too small. Instead, women with the most attractive bodies are those who have medium-sized bust lines. A study from the 1960s had men rate 105 silhouettes. Most of them ranked the ones with medium bust lines as more attractive than those with small or large bust lines. In spite of this, those same men still idealized women with larger chests, a find that was backed up by later studies. Thanks to a 2013 survey conducted by dating website Zoosk, we have a lot of insight into what makes men tick, at least when it comes to hair. Out of the men surveyed, 89% said that hair is the first thing they notice on a woman. This find is particularly interesting since 71% of women surveyed said they don't expect potential love interests to even notice their hair. According to the survey, most men prefer women to wear their hair down, and 29% that they want the sock bun hair trend to die out. This backs up scientific findings, which have shown that men subconsciously look at hair as an indicator of health. Good hair provided an evolutionary advantage, and that preference still carries over today. When it comes to body modification, men dig it. A survey conducted by AskMen.com and Huffington Post asked men what they thought about tattoos and piercings on women. Of the men surveyed, 69% said they would be attracted to a woman with a tattoo, and 55% said they would be attracted to a woman with a piercing. Men said that the most attractive tattoos are on the shoulder, upper back, while the most attractive piercing by far, with 61% of the vote, is a belly button piercing.
So cute, right?
Lovely.
But it wasn't just men who had their own tattoos and piercings who were into the idea of a lady with them. Only 32% of the surveyed men had tattoos, while only 13% had piercings. When it comes to legs, it's all about length. Studies show that men prefer women who have a longer leg-to-body ratio, which might explain the popularity of high heels. A study in Poland found that legs that are 5% longer than the average were the most attractive. But if you think the long leg preference means men like tall women, you'd be mistaken.
Ah!
Oh my God, you're a monster!
Despite the fact that there is an evolutionary advantage to being tall, men seem to prefer shorter women, or at least prefer women who are shorter than they are. So the most attractive women, according to research, are those who are short but have long legs, like Scarlett Johansson and Marilyn Monroe. It's not enough to have the right kind of legs or be just the right height. According to some studies, men want women to walk the walk too. A swinging gait reels men in.
Boom, boom. That's not it. Yikes.
Researchers found that women who are most fertile have a tendency to subconsciously change how they walk, slowing their gait in a way that men find more alluring. This particular gait is similar to the way a model struts down the runway, head up, shoulders back, arms swinging loosely with swiveling hips. It's no great revelation that a winning smile can attract a man, but women who are going to employ this tactic might be surprised to learn that their smile has to be a big one. Specifically, you need to bare those teeth. Since teeth are the result of both genetics and environmental factors, getting a peek into someone's mouth can give you an idea of their general health. In women, this is linked to their reproductive value. Healthy teeth indicate a healthy person who is capable of childbearing. Small feet have been associated with femininity and beauty for centuries. The Chinese practice of foot binding endured for 1,000 years before the practice was outlawed. While people don't go to such extremes for small feet in modern times, dainty feet are still considered to be attractive. Evolutionary scientists say men might subconsciously find small feet more attractive because they indicate a healthy childhood. Women who have had a healthy childhood don't reach puberty as early and end up growing for longer and develop more typically feminine features.
We've all seen images of the Karen women in parts of Myanmar and Thailand who wear heavy brass rings around their necks. The seemingly odd practice of the Padang long neck sub-tribe makes a woman more attractive to the opposite sex in that culture, because they see it as a sign of beauty and wealth. Although it may appear torturous to many Westerners for a woman to undergo the lengthening of her neck, these rings are the ultimate accessory. According to the Peoples of the World Foundation, the weight of the rings pushes down the collarbone as well as the upper ribs to such an angle that the collarbone actually appears to be part of the neck. Kayan women begin wearing the rings by the age of 4 or 5, with more rings added as they become accustomed to the weight. Calling all single dudes of Myanmar, these ladies are rocking up to 25 pounds of bling. But our next set of seductresses know you don't need to sparkle to flash that sex appeal. Nose jobs aren't that uncommon in the United States, but Iran has become the rhinoplasty capital of the world. Their women are so proud of going under the knife that they'll keep wearing their bandages long after they're needed. Some ladies wear surgical tape even if they haven't gone under the knife. Because women's bodies and hair are covered by a hijab and it makes no sense to spend money on clothes, women want to put their money where their nose is and what eligible bachelors can actually see. Azar Nafisi, author of Reading Lolita in Tehran, told ABC News, "Women have become more fashion conscious because they are deprived of it. Every woman likes to be happy, likes to be secure, likes to look good, to feel good. Iranians are no different." Okay, cool, but what if he's more of an ear guy? Members of the Maasai tribe in Africa are known for their practice of wearing heavy jewelry made of stones or elephant tusks to stretch their earlobes over time. As time goes by, a woman's status in the Maasai tribe is heightened by how elongated her earlobes are. To draw attention to them, Maasai women adorn them with brightly colored beads and jewelry to attract attention to their impressive size. Many Americans might consider a lip plate a form of body mutilation, but to a Mercy or Suri woman in Ethiopia, it signals a female has reached childbearing age. The process includes the removal of the 2 lower front teeth before a piercing is made to allow heavy clay or wooden disc to stretch the lower lip. Like ear stretching, larger and larger discs are inserted over time to further elongate the lip. The larger the disc becomes, the greater the beauty, as it signifies maturity, which is considered very attractive by the males of the tribe. Maori women in New Zealand have traditionally adorned a tattoo on their chin to snag their men. The sacred tradition is known as tamuku. Each muku is different and includes ancestral tribal information specific to the wearer. The muku also displays the woman's family and tribal affiliations, as well as her social status within her tribe. While both men and women are tattooed, the main reason for women to tattoo their lips and chins is for beauty. Blogger Katie Wake Ramos, who travels the globe studying beauty in different cultures, says, "They are tattooed on their lips and chins, and the more fuller their lips, the more beautiful they are considered in their community." The practice has changed over time, but it is still a major draw for a Maori man. Dr. Nahuia Te Oekotuku, a professor of psychology at Waikato University, explains, "Tamuku today is much more than a fashion statement. It is about who we are and whom we come from. It is about where we are going and how we choose to get there." In the African country of Mauritania, drought and famine is common, so for a time, being overweight became a way for men to determine a lady's prosperity. A heavier woman became so desirable that girls as young as 7 were sent to fat farms and urged to eat in order to put on weight. The BBC News reported some of these girls at fat farms could end up weighing between 130 to 220 pounds. In the report, Layla, a woman who had been fattened as a child, revealed that the practice was losing its popularity. She explained, traditionally, a fat wife was a symbol of wealth. Now, to be beautiful is to be natural, just to eat normally. Men go crazy for Indian women who rock nose rings, bindis, and henna to make themselves more attractive, especially on important occasions such as weddings or festivals. Cosmetic company L'Oreal notes that the Indian culture has always considered beauty an expression of godliness and something to be revered. L'Oreal said, while eyeliner, jeweled and dyed bindis, and henna-stained hands and feet have defined beauty for centuries, Bollywood presents another facet of Indian beauty where color, shimmer, and gloss are the order of the day. Despite the size of the country and its regional diversity, this Bollywood-reinforced pan-Indian ideal of beauty is based on very specific criteria: fair skin, a silhouette with feminine curves, big expressive eyes, and long, dark, shiny hair. There is nothing more appealing to a Frenchman than the au naturel look on women. While many cultures choose heavy makeup, many women in France opt for the natural look, accentuating their natural beauty with muted and warm tones. French makeup artist Violette told Vogue, "What we want is to be ourselves, not a better version of ourselves. We think, what style can I have with this face and with this hair?" To look their best with minimal makeup, French women work hard to keep their skin in great condition with creams and other cosmetics. Violette says, "French women treat their base as best as they can. We try to have amazing skin and an amazing body and amazing hair, so we don't have to do too much else."
Frida Kahlo might have sported a now iconic unibrow in the 20th century, but her fashion statement went against the grain of modern beauty standards. While many people thought she was flouting more modern ideals of beauty, she was actually embracing a centuries-old tradition. To the ancient Greeks, nothing was more attractive than a woman with just one eyebrow. Like Kahlo, ancient Greek women did not just let their unibrows grow freely, but would also take extra measures to make them even more prominent. While unibrows aren't typically considered attractive in modern times, thicker brows are making a bit of a comeback. Model and actress Cara Delevingne, for example, doesn't sport a unibrow, but her thick and full eyebrows helped to spark a modern trend for a bushier brow. Those familiar with the tale of the Trojan War know that Helen, the Spartan queen whose affair with the Trojan prince Paris led to bloody war between their two kingdoms, was famed for her beauty. Sparta was considered to be a land of beautiful women, but the beauty standards were far different back then from what you might expect today. As a queen, the historical Helen, who would have lived roughly 3,500 years ago during the Bronze Age, would have had tattoos of red suns on her chin and cheeks. Her hair would have also been shaved when she was in her teens, and when it grew back, would have been arranged to look like snakes. In classical Greece, which began in the 5th century BC, Spartan beauty standards had changed a bit. Men kept their hair long and styled it, but women were expected to cut their hair off upon marriage and to keep it short for the rest of their lives. In ancient Ireland, a woman's worth often came down to what her hands looked like. While light skin and golden hair were also prized, it was a woman's hands that revealed whether or not she came from a good family. The ideal hands were well-formed with slender, tapering fingers, according to historians, and women of the upper class were expected to have rounded, well-kept nails. Even among the men in ancient Ireland, nail grooming was considered mandatory, and it was considered to be shameful for upper-class men to have unkempt nails. Though many of us today associate the color green with Ireland thanks to St. Patrick's Day, red was actually much more popular in ancient Ireland, and crimson-colored fingernails were all the rage. Who needs spray tans when you're a Renaissance woman? Women during the Renaissance were all about pale skin. Light skin was considered to be beautiful not necessarily for the aesthetic quality, but because paleness served as an indicator of status. A light complexion meant that you were wealthy enough to not have to work outdoors. In Elizabethan times, the more translucent your skin was, the better. In fact, this obsession with light skin was so great that even Queen Elizabeth I herself would apply a powder made of lead to her face. This had the effect of lightening the skin, but also slowly poisoned the wearer. You win some and you lose some. The Western ideal of beauty has trended towards slimness for more than a century, but for a stretch of time, full-figured women were in vogue. Renaissance painters such as the 17th century Flemish artist Peter Paul Rubens painted beautiful women with ample flesh on their bones, and his works are still celebrated in modern times. Today, the word Rubenesque is still used to refer to voluptuous women. While many modern women desire to have a flat stomach, the Rubenesque ideal favored a thicker midsection, and rounded stomachs were considered the height of femininity. During the Renaissance, larger slender women were considered particularly beautiful. Voluptuous curves were viewed as a sign of wealth, and in Italy were also thought to be a sign that a woman would bear healthy sons. While we often think of corsets primarily as a way to achieve a thinner waist, they were also used to accentuate the bosom and the hips and to give less endowed women the appearance of substantial curves. In the 1920s, the feminine ideal of beauty was a woman who looked like she was on the verge of passing out at any moment. Linda Lynn, a psychologist at Boston's Emmanuel College, explained to the Daily Burn that femininity was tied to frailness, weakness, and vulnerability a century ago, saying power, strength, and muscularity were thought of as masculine traits, and gyms were for bodybuilders and athletes. Even as recently as the 1960s, strenuous exercise was viewed as something that could damage a woman's health. It wasn't until the 1990s that the idea of a toned, strong, muscular woman began to be considered not only acceptable but also attractive. While being toned in modern times is considered aesthetically appealing, the new standard isn't necessarily an improvement over the old one. As Linda Lynn explains, the culture is defining what's attractive, and it's not more accepting. Now women can feel bad if they don't have the right muscle tone.